My daughter told me my ex is thriving after I left him for another man. Hey there, so I'm 37 now and, wow, life looks way different than it did a few years ago. I'm married to Larry these days, but here's the twist, he was actually the other guy back when I was married to my first husband. We've been officially together for about 5 years now, and married for 4. Crazy how life throws these curveballs, right? Let me take you back to the start. I met my ex-husband in college, and we got hitched pretty young. He was the ambitious, hard-working type, and I really admired that about him. But as his career took off, he got super busy and our home life took a hit, especially our intimacy. He was a great guy, pulling his weight around the house and making time for our monthly date nights. But emotionally and physically, I felt just neglected. That's when Larry came into the picture. I met him at a friend's party when I was 31. He was charming, understood me in a way I hadn't felt in years, and made me feel seen and heard. We started as friends, but our connection got deep fast, and 7 months later, we were having an affair. Not gonna lie, it was thrilling at first, full of passion and that new love buzz. But deep down, I knew things were complicated and people were gonna get hurt. Eventually, I couldn't keep the secret from my husband. When he found out about the affair, I had to make a tough choice. My feelings for Larry had grown so much that I decided to leave my husband for him. So, we got divorced, and not long after, Larry and I tied the knot. In the beginning, it felt like a dream. We were in a blissful bubble, using some settlement money from my divorce to enjoy life together. But then 2020 hit and, man, it hit hard. Larry's work dried up due to the pandemic, and suddenly, I was the main breadwinner. The financial stress was real. I took on 2 jobs just to keep us afloat, and even then, it was tough. We had to lean on my parents for help, which I never thought we'd need to do. Things hit home when we had to sell the house and car from my divorce settlement. We downsized and pinched every penny, hoping to save up for a potential business venture to turn things around. Starting the business felt like a last-ditch effort, but, thankfully, it started doing better than expected. It felt like shedding all ties to my past, including the physical ones, allowed us to build something new. But just when things seemed to be looking up, I found out about a tough blow. Larry was taking money from my savings without telling me. It's like having a piggy bank for something cool and finding out someone's been snatching coins when you're not looking. When I confronted him, he got super defensive and said he didn't trust me because of my past infidelity. Turns out, Larry also wasn't pulling his weight at home, just chilling and hanging out with friends while I did everything. To top it off, I discovered he's been cheating on me with a waitress from the bar. Now, talking about divorce seems like a massive mess with our money situation being so tight. Things are even more complicated because Larry just quit his job, making it hard to pay for, well, everything. I also have a 12-year-old daughter from my first marriage. She tells me all about how awesome her dad is doing. They even went on a cool trip to Venice. I can't help but feel a bit envious and thinking maybe I didn't handle things well with him. Even though we split pretty amicably when I told him about the cheating, and he got custody of our daughter, part of me wonders if there's still some love there. Or maybe it's just guilt and mixed emotions because everything's a mess. I find myself wanting to reach out to him, but we only ever talk about our daughter, and I haven't seen him in person in over a year. I can't shake this feeling that I messed up something good before, and now my life's kind of falling apart. A small side note, I didn't leave my daughter behind. My ex really wanted primary custody because his job was too demanding for him to have it otherwise. In exchange, I got money, the car, and the house, and I see my daughter 5 days a month. I do feel guilty, but I don't want to get back together with him because I know it's not right. I'm still proud of how he's moved on and rebuilt his life. Meanwhile, I'm owning up to my choices and the state of my life right now. I keep thinking about him, maybe just missing him, and it's all the harder because the guy I left him for is now cheating on me. Anyway, enough about me. What do you think? Okay, so here's the deal. I really screwed things up. I ended up with someone else while I was married, and now I kind of want my ex back. But honestly, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me. Having a fling is one thing, but then treating my ex like a cash machine? Yeah, not cool at all. Here's how it went down. My ex and I made this deal because he was desperate to have our daughter live with him primarily. But the catch was, his job kept him super busy, and he knew he'd be struggling to spend enough time with her. So, he offered me the house, some money, and a car in exchange for our daughter living with him. It wasn't like I was pushing for this, he was the one who wanted it. I even told him several times that I didn't deserve any more of his time because of how I messed things up. But, I can't get him out of my head. I've been getting a lot of advice from folks, some saying we all make mistakes and I should just learn from this and focus on myself. Maybe apologize, but then move on. Another commenter was pretty blunt, saying my new partner seems like a total loser. And honestly, I kind of get why they'd say that. My ex was probably a better person, and now I'm stuck with a guy who treats video games like a full-time gig instead of having a real job. During the affair, he seemed great, ambitious and attentive, everything I thought I wanted. But jumping into this relationship turned out to be a disaster for me, my ex, and even our daughter. Some people think maybe this guy was just putting on a good face in the beginning. Now it seems like I've lost everything, my daughter, the assets, and my self-respect. There's been talk of reaching out to my parents to help me get back on track, and I probably should, but staying single for a while also sounds like a good plan. Someone else mentioned how society doesn't usually slam men for becoming weekend dads, and it stings a bit. Sure, I've made materialistic and narcissistic choices, but I'm still seeing my daughter. I owned up to my cheating and wanted to leave my husband, which wasn't easy. He begged for primary custody, and I felt like I owed him that much after the pain I'd caused. Yeah, maybe I could have fought him on custody to keep it all equal, but honestly, I felt like I'd hurt him enough. He even promised not to tell our daughter what happened, which was a big deal for me. Life's been a mess. I'm juggling 2 jobs and practically funding my current partner's lifestyle. But I guess that's what I get for the dumb decisions I made. Reality hit hard, and it's no picnic dealing with it. And then, to top it off, a few months back, I found out my husband, Larry, was sneaking money from my savings. That's like if someone was taking your favorite candy without asking. I was upset, but things got worse. I came home early one day to surprise him with dinner, and there he was with the assistant principal from his old school, sitting way too close for comfort. When Larry saw me, he just shrugged and said, "This is how things are now." My heart just sank. So, I called my best friend over that night because I needed to talk, and we chatted in my kitchen while I tried not to fall apart. I mean, sometimes life just throws these curveballs, and you're left standing there wondering how you ended up in such a mess. So there I was, just munching on some ice cream when my friend accidentally blurted out that a bunch of our friends knew about Larry's shady behavior. They assumed I was cool with it because, I'd cheated in my previous marriage. Man, I felt so betrayed, like everyone was against me. Suddenly, I was like a detective in a mystery series, snooping around Larry's life. I ended up finding receipts and even a lease for an apartment I had no clue about. Turns out, Larry was renting a place across town using a fake name, and guess who was staying there? The same assistant principal. It was like he had this whole secret life I had no idea about. Amid all this chaos, my phone buzzed. It was my ex, the father of my daughter. He was genuinely worried because our daughter overheard everything and was upset. My heart ached, I couldn't stand the thought of her getting tangled up in all this adult drama. My ex suggested we meet up to figure out how to handle this with our daughter, who's only 12 and doesn't deserve any of this mess. It made me think about how things used to be with him, more stable and secure, even if we had our issues. And then, like a plot twist, Larry said he needed space. He packed up some bags and left, just like that, saying he wasn't sure if we had a future. There I was, left to deal with my shattered heart and our broken home. Now I'm stuck, wondering what to do next. Should I try to fix things with Larry, or is it time to move on? Maybe I should talk to my ex more, not to rekindle anything, but just to find some peace in this chaos. One thing's for sure, I need to focus on my daughter and make sure she's okay. Everything else is just background noise compared to ensuring she feels safe and loved. Fast forward to last week, I was just chilling at home, trying to have a normal morning, sipping coffee and checking emails, when the mail arrived. I figured it was the usual stuff, maybe some ads or the electric bill. But there was this super official looking envelope mixed in. My heart sank a bit because, let's be real, good news rarely comes in fancy envelopes. I opened it and bam. It was like getting struck by lightning, but without any cool thunder. A lawyer's letter from Larry's side. Yep, he wants a divorce. Honestly, I saw it coming, but the kicker? He's not just looking to split up, he wants half of everything, including my business and 401k. My business is like my baby, I built it from the ground up. And my 401k? That's my nest egg for when I'm old and gray, planning to just chill out. Reading that letter, I was a mix of angry, scared, and seriously stressed. How could Larry, who used to be my partner in everything, turn around and try to take what I've worked so hard for? It felt super unfair, like being the main character in a movie where everything goes sideways. After freaking out for a solid 10 minutes, I called my sister. She's always been there when things get rough. We had a long talk, and she was super supportive, telling me I needed to stand my ground and not let Larry push me around. "You've got to fight for what's yours and show him he can't just take things from you," she said. She also advised me to get a good lawyer, someone who could help me protect what I've built. But here's where things get trickier. Fighting this whole thing in court is going to cost a lot. Lawyers aren't cheap, and the business is already feeling the pressure from all this drama. Customers can sense these things. I'm sweating over how I'll pay for it all. And on top of the grown-up legal stuff, I'm also a mom. My daughter is watching all this unfold. She's only 12 but so wise and kind. She sees me upset and gives me the biggest hugs, telling me, "Mom, it's going to be okay. You're the strongest person I know." It melts my heart. She's my little ray of sunshine, and I've promised myself that no matter how messy this gets, I won't let it mess her up. She deserves a happy mom and a stable life, and I'll do whatever it takes to give her that. So, what's next? Well, I'm gearing up for a big fight. I need to protect my business, my savings, and most importantly, keep my daughter's world happy and safe. It's going to be tough, but I've got my sister and daughter cheering me on, and I'm ready to fight like never before. And there's more. Just when I thought things couldn't get crazier, they did. Feeling really down and kind of lost, I started thinking about the past, especially about Mark, my first husband. You know, before all this mess started, things with him were pretty good, a bit of stability, some security, and he was really kind. After the whole disaster with Larry, I started missing those good old days. I thought maybe there could be a chance to fix things with Mark, maybe even start fresh. So, what did I do? I drove over to his house, heart racing like crazy. I was super nervous but felt like I had to at least try. When I knocked on his door and Mark opened it, his face was a total picture of shock, like he couldn't believe I was standing there. So, I was all nervous and started jabbering away when I bumped into Mark. I was like, "Hey Mark, wow, it's been forever. So much has gone down. I've been mulling over our history and how we left things. I'm really sorry for how it all ended. Things are tough for me right now, and I just miss how good we had it. Do you think there's any chance we could chat, maybe see if we could hit the reset button?" Mark looked at me like I had just landed from Mars. He was definitely not thrilled, and his voice got loud. He was like, "You think you can just pop up out of nowhere and expect a do-over after all this time? After everything you did?" I tried to tell him how sorry I was, but nope, he wasn't having any of it. It seemed like he had this mountain of anger all bottled up, and now it was exploding. Before I knew it, he goes, "I think you should leave. We've both moved on, and there's nothing left to say," and just slammed the door in my face. I just stood there, shocked, sad, and filled with regret. Driving home was rough. I was crying, feeling totally alone, and questioning everything. Why did I think seeing Mark would help? What made me think he'd want to revisit something we both left behind? Now I'm back at home, feeling like the world is weighing me down. I've got this messy divorce with Larry, who's trying to snatch away my business and my savings, and to top it off, the reality check from Mark really stung. But here's what hit me: I can't keep living in the past. I need to focus on the present, especially being the best mom I can be for my daughter. She needs me to be strong and stable and to show her that no matter how tough things get, we can push through. So, here's the plan. I'm getting myself a top-notch lawyer to help me fight Larry in court to make sure he doesn't take everything I've worked for. I'm going to pour my heart into my business and make it stronger than ever. And I'll spend every moment I can making sure my daughter knows she's loved and safe. It won't be easy, and I'm sure there are more challenges ahead, but I've got to keep fighting. I believe there's light at the end of this tunnel, and I'm determined to reach it. Update: So, life decided to throw me a few more curveballs. After the whole Mark thing, I was feeling pretty down, but you know how life is, it doesn't pause just because you're feeling low. First, I had to tackle my looming divorce with Larry, who out of nowhere, turned into this villain wanting half of everything I own, like my hard-earned business and savings. It felt like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. Determined not to let him take me down, I went on a hunt for a superhero, well, a super lawyer. I found Ms. Carter, who came highly recommended and was known for being tough as nails. The first time I met her, I laid it all out: the love, the betrayal, Larry's sneaky moves, and his crazy demands. She listened, taking notes faster than I could speak. After I finished, she looked at me with these sharp eyes and said firmly, "We're going to fight this and win. You're not alone." It was the first time in weeks I felt hopeful. We planned our strategy carefully, mapping out every step to protect my business and future. Meanwhile, things at home were pretty emotional. My daughter, who's only 12, seemed to pick up on my stress. She started doing these sweet little things to cheer me up, like leaving cute notes on my pillow or drawing pictures of us holding hands. It was adorable but also heart-wrenching because she was trying to care for me when it should be the other way around. This made me even more determined not to let all this mess bring me down. I had to be strong for her and for me. Just when I thought I was getting a grip on things, there was a knock at the door one lazy Saturday morning. I opened it, not expecting much, and there was my brother, who I hadn't seen in years because of a massive family fallout. He was standing there, looking kind of awkward and nervous, asking if we could talk. We ended up sitting at the kitchen table with 2 steaming cups of coffee between us. He said he heard about my situation through the family grapevine and thought it was time to put our differences aside and stick together because, according to him, families should stick together. It was unexpected but felt kind of nice to reconnect. He even offered to help with my daughter whenever things got too hectic. Rebuilding bridges with my brother felt like finding a safe harbor in the storm. It reminded me that even when things seem really dark, there can be unexpected moments of light and people ready to help. So here I am, gearing up for what might be the fight of my life in court but feeling a bit stronger with my lawyer and my brother by my side. I'm learning a lot about dealing with tough times and finding out who's really there for you. Life can be a roller coaster, right? Sometimes you're flying high, and other times, you're down in the dumps. But the ride never stops. As I gear up for the next twist, I'm holding tight to what I've learned, the folks who have my back, and the hope that after every storm, a bit of sunshine is just around the corner. Fast forward to my 5th update, the day kicked off like any other stressful one. I woke up early, stomach tied in knots, brain racing about the court hearing. I met up with Miss Carter, my lawyer, outside the courthouse. She looked sharp and ready to take on the world. Her confidence gave me a little boost, making me feel we had a real shot at winning. We stepped into the courthouse together, where everything felt big and a bit daunting. Those high ceilings and echoing sounds didn't help my nerves. I took a seat, trying to appear calm, though my heart was practically running a marathon. Larry was already there, looking all serious with his lawyer, who had that slick, TV lawyer vibe. They really painted Larry as the ever-supportive husband, despite the financial drama. Then Miss Carter took the stage. She was fantastic, presenting all our evidence, emails, financial records, the whole deal, showing that Larry wasn't all he claimed to be. But then Larry spoke. He got really emotional, talking about how lonely he felt, and even teared up a bit. It was an award-winning performance, and it seemed to resonate with the judge. Waiting for the verdict was brutal. It felt like time slowed to a crawl. When the decision finally came, it was like a sucker punch. Larry won half of everything, my business, my 401k, my world. It didn't feel fair, but it was real. Walking out of that courthouse, everything felt like a bad dream. Half of all I'd worked for was just gone. Back home, I had to take some time to process everything. My brother, my rock through all this, kept reminding me that this wasn't the end. You're down, but not out, he said. You can rebuild, come back stronger. His words helped, though they didn't erase the hurt. Now, I'm looking ahead. It's going to be a long road, rebuilding my finances and my business. But I've learned a big lesson about resilience. It's not just about riding out the good times, but getting through the tough ones. I've got my daughter, my brother, and a newfound toughness that no court can take from me. As I plan my next steps, I'm focusing on recovery and rebuilding, not just my business, but my spirit too. Life threw me a curveball, but I'm learning to swing back even harder. Last update, a lot has changed since then. The dust has settled, and life's found a new kind of normal. Looking back from my first marriage to Mark, to the whirlwind and downfall, with Larry and the courtroom drama, I've realized something. If you've got something good going, especially a good relationship, it's more valuable than gold. Don't take it for granted. I once thought the grass was greener on Larry's side, but that adventure turned into a real nightmare, one that cost me emotionally and spiritually, not just financially. Larry's charm was just a mask, hiding someone I barely recognized by the end. The court's decision was tough to swallow. Losing half of everything felt like a cruel joke after everything came to light. But these dark times showed me just how resilient I am. With my daughter's optimism and my brother's unwavering support, I've learned the true meaning of family and strength. So, here's my advice: if you've got a good partner, treasure them. Tackle your issues together, communicate, and don't let small gaps turn into unbridgeable gulfs. I learned the hard way that new thrills fade, but the deep comfort of a shared history and mutual respect is rare and precious. I'm rebuilding now, my business, my life, my circle. It's not easy, and some days are rougher than others, but I'm moving forward with a clearer sense of what's important. I'm also giving back, sharing my story with young people in hopes they'll learn from my mistakes. Life's full of chapters, and while some of mine have been wild, I'm working on making the next ones full of peace, growth, and happiness. Mistakes are human, but they don't define us. We can learn, grow, and most importantly, forgive ourselves and move on.